the 10,000 active makers. Round of applause. Welcome to the stage.
Thank you. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Are we tired? It's too early for us to be tired, actually. Right? Or are we feeling hot? Hot or cold or too cold? All right. Yeah. Thank you very much. Can we all put our hands together for the host? We'll be doing quite a lot today. I think, and I want to also believe that everyone here, we've learned a thing or two since morning, because that's the main goal. While we are here, we don't just want to like network. That is why we've added a couple of other activities, like the sessions on the ZK, the introduction to ZK, type of ZK EVMs, and also we try to tilt it a little bit to talk about the product side of things, like you've heard from one of the speakers, who is an experienced, product manager. So we would like you to take home a lot of things from this workshop or like from this entire event. But then the ideal thing is also after the event, please try as much as possible to network. You don't know who is sitting beside you, and then you don't know like some of the opportunities that you can get out of the box by just connecting with everyone. So in this session, I actually plan to do a walkthrough and also like a demo in real time to create Interchain token on Scroll. Specifically, of course, it's a Scroll Community Meetup Lagos. But then we'll be using the Axelar Interchain token service. I'll try as much as possible to explain like the basic or like the background behind what exactly Interchain token service are, and also how you can use Interchain token service to create your token across multiple blockchain. So we'll be deploying on Scroll, which will be our local chain, like the primary chain, and then we'll be doing a remote deployment on other blockchains. So we'll all see it together so we can decide which blockchain we want to choose to deploy that particular asset on. But then before I continue, are we all familiar with ERC20? Is there anyone here that have never heard about ERC20 before? Oh, perfect. So what we'll be doing today, the token I'm talking about is an ERC20 token that we'll deploy on Scroll and then deploy remotely on other blockchains. So let's move on. My name is Idris Olubisi. I'm a software engineer and a technical writer. I currently work as a developer advocate at Axelar. And then you can find me on all social media platforms at SolarNetSoft. Until recently, Helen tried to show me Shege. But then it's fine. So let me quickly take you through an analogy I find very, very interesting about Interchain token itself. So imagine a blockchain as a country with its own currency, right? And then Interchain tokens are like travelers where they need access to every country, in this case, the blockchain, they go through. So initially, we all know that travelers need to prepare themselves, right? Whenever you want to travel for every trip. So there are so many things you need to add to your toolbox, and also things like currency, cards, something that would work internationally as you are traveling or you are on any journey, as the case may be. So setting up a universal credit here, in this case, I'm just using an example of credit card, which in turn means you have an Interchain token that is accessible on different blockchains. So as you move from one country to the other, you have the same access on country A and country B and country C. I hope you guys get that clearly. So the idea here is, I am a traveler. I want to prepare myself well enough that I don't have issues in any of these countries that I'll be traveling to. We all know the requirements behind like travels. In some cases, visas. Apart from visa is just one out of many things that you need to prepare for. But in this case, see Interchain token as an asset that is useful or relevant for you within all of these countries that you'll be traveling to, irrespective of which country it is, right? And having that particular asset just automatically give you what you need to utilize or to spend with within these countries. So that's the idea behind the Interchain tokens, something that is accessible and then can be seamlessly transferred between different blockchains. So it brings you closer to where all your users are. If your users are on blockchain B, and then you deploy your dApp on blockchain A, if you are leveraging Interchain token, you easily have access to where your users are on any other blockchains. So how do you take advantage of this new world where your DeFi services reach beyond just one blockchain, right? I mentioned that just now, where you have a different ecosystem. We all know that we have like the EVM ecosystem, we have the Cosmos ecosystem. Even within the EVM ecosystem, we have a lot of blockchains. But then how can you have access to all of these blockchains? What if your concern is you want to reach beyond just one blockchain? Another one here is what if your concern is also about not having liquidity confined into single chain? How are you going to go about it? How are you going to go about it if, of course, we all like simple things? This Interchain token is interesting enough that if you want to integrate it, what if you need to go through a lot of things, or you need to do architectural planning and all of that? Are you going to continue using it? Are you even going to try it in the first place? Simplicity is also very, very important. How simple it is for you to create this token, and then how simple it is for you, if you already have existing tokens on any blockchain, to make it accessible on other blockchains. So is this a magic? Of course, it's not, because we have an underlying technology that powers this. And then in this case, it is the Interchain token service. What exactly is the Interchain token service? This is a suite of tools, right? And smart contracts that is designed to empower developers to issue and manage tokens that retain the same utility, emphasis on that, the same utility and fungibility across multiple blockchains. So that same token retains its the usability, fungibility across different blockchains that is currently deployed on. Moving on, we have things out of the box for you as an individual developer, or you're a founder and you're looking to deploy or to go cross-chain, and also you want to deploy your assets cross-chain. First here is trustless. The Interchain token service is a smart contract, and its code is open source, right? You don't have to trust anybody to integrate it. You can go through it, you can connect to it directly, you can leverage the portal that we've created, which we'll be using in this presentation when we get to the demo side. So, because this is publicly available, it means that the underlying technology that is powering this Interchain token service is the Axelar network. And then Axelar network itself is secured by a set of dynamic validators. Anyone familiar with Axelar here? Or ever heard about Axelar? So, oh, nice. So in case you're hearing Axelar for the first time, Axelar is a proof of stake blockchain, and it's built on the Cosmos Tendermint SDK, which is now known as COM-BFT. So this is the underlying technology that powers the Interchain token service. But beyond that, the Interchain token service, like I mentioned earlier, is a contract on its own that is used to create Interchain tokens and then seamlessly move them across different chains. The second one here I want to talk about is the no-code functionality that you get. You see how this works, right? You don't need to know how to code before you can create your token. It's as simple as that. The third point here is fungibility. Right now, as of today, you can scale up to 15 plus blockchains out of the box, leveraging the Interchain token service. And also, if you have your token deployed already, you can make your token canonical Interchain token. So in this case, you are creating a wrapper of that token and make it exist on every blockchain, leveraging this Interchain token service. And you can do this on the portal. During the demo, you see that. So how cool are all of these things? Remember that it is simple to use, it is open source, but then how functional is it? You might be wondering that, okay, my token is not just an ERC20 token, the default one that we all know. My token has custom functionality like minting policies, governance. There are some custom things that might be useful for your community that you have already integrated on your existing token. The good part is that there are several integrations that we've made available for developers that want to link existing token that is already deployed on multiple blockchains together as one chain, as one token rather. Link existing tokens that are already deployed on multiple blockchains as one. And then when you move assets from chain A to chain B recognizes the same token. If you move that asset from chain B to chain C, it recognizes that this is the same asset that is being moved from one protocol to the other. And then one last thing I also want to mention there is that the underlying technology of identifying what assets and then how to link them. There's something called a token manager. This is also a smart contract. So whenever you create a new Interchain token, right, we deploy a token manager for you, which is a contract. So what exactly is this token manager doing, right? The token manager helps you, for new tokens, the token manager helps you mint and bond tokens across chain. So for example, you're on chain A and your total supply is 1,000. And you move that token from chain A to chain B. Maybe you transfer 100, right? You now have 900 on the chain A, and then you have 100 on chain B, which means that 100 has been successfully bond on chain A and then minted on chain B. So that activity for bonding and then minting, taking control and using like how to do it seamlessly is where token manager comes in. That you can, after creating that token, you can use the token manager to move things around. In fact, ITS uses the token manager to do mint and bond across different chains as you move them, which doesn't affect your total supply in any way. So I think I've talked about Interchain token already, but then that's the underlying technology about the Interchain token. But then what exactly are Interchain tokens themselves? So these tokens are created and managed by Axelar Interchain Token Service. I mentioned that earlier, which uses the Axelar communication protocol to send tokens cross-chain. It's as simple as that. So with it, you can build your own assets, bridges, and also build assets that you can transfer from one Interchain decentralized application, any of your dApp, from one blockchain protocol to the other. So just to reiterate one more time, when a new Interchain token gets created, a token manager is deployed. And then that token manager is used to mint and bond token as you move it across chain. But what if you have your token already existing on chain A, and then you want to make it an Interchain token? In that case, a lock and unlock token manager type is deployed for you. Because now what you are doing is you already have this token on one chain, and then you want to move it on another chain. What the token manager is going to do for you is to lock your token on the primary chain and then mint. So when you move it, it will lock it here and then mint on the destination chain. So as you move things around, you get hold of the total supply intact, because now you know that token is already existing on chain A. So what all you are just doing is, all the token manager is just doing is to lock the token and then release it somewhere, which is like minting it on another blockchain remotely. So now straight to the demo where we see all of these things in action. So what are we going to be doing here? We'll create a new interchain token on Scroll, and then we'll deploy it remotely to any other chain. We'll all agree to those chains right here, and then we'll transfer tokens. So you see how balances are moved. But the good part of it is that I'm going to do this on the portal, like using the portal, so you see how it's done without any coding experience. So now let's quickly switch over to it. So the URL we want to access right now is interchain.axelar.dev, as you can see on the screen. So, but then this is the mainnet version. What we are going to do right here, let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, I think I need to switch to light mode so that I think it's better. So let me go to the home page. 1 second. All right, so this is the home page, right? This is the testnet. Please, there's difference between the testnet and the mainnet. So if you want to play around with things, you can just go to testnet.interchain.axelar.dev. But the cool part is that even if you are on interchain.axelar.dev, which is the mainnet, you see a link at the bottom that takes you to testnet. I don't have it here because I've already clicked it, so I'm on testnet. So you need to take note of that so that in case you are not ready, you want to test things out, you test with only your faucet. So you don't use real money, unless you have money anyways. So, yeah, so this is the portal. This is what you are going to see. Right now, I'm connected. Wait, can anyone confirm you can see my screen clearly? All right, cool. Let me zoom in one more time. All right, so now I've connected my wallet. This is what you are going to see by default. Connect wallet, right? So you click on connect wallet, and then in my own case is MetaMask. And also you see you have options to select any of these blockchains. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to 15 plus blockchains. And in this case, I've selected Scroll. That's why you're seeing Scroll here. We are good to go. So you have two options that you can do from this portal. The first one is if you have an existing token that you already deployed somewhere and you want to make it a canonical interchain token, then you can just paste in your wallet address. The system search for the token itself and then gives you all the details on that token, and you can make it interchain token. But then in this demo, what I'll be doing is to create a new interchain token, right? And this interchain token will be accessible on all the blockchains that we all agree on here. So a token name, can anyone give us a token name? This is testnet, of course. Any name? Any name? That's a lot of. Huh? Inera. I heard Inera. So let's try Inera token. Right? And then the symbol, can we choose EN? Is that okay? So, okay, yeah, ENG. That makes sense. So now, oh, this now looks like England or English. EN. I think EN is fine. So now we have EN. Then you can also set the token decimal. Of course, here is 18. And you click on token setting. So the next thing you see here is where to set your total supply. So what exactly is the total supply? Is it 10 million? Is it 10 billion? Is it 1 million? Is it 100,000? You can set the total supply here. So in this case, we'll be setting 10,000, right? But then if you take a look at this screen properly, you see this section that says is mintable. You see, if you check this section, right, it will ask for the secure minter address. Like, do you want to specify the address that have the access to mint tokens, like to mint additional tokens after the initial supply, right? So in case you mint 1,000 and then you want to increase the supply, you can specify who. So it is not tied to the account that deployed this token. Depends on the access and privilege. So if you have like a particular multi-sig wallet that controls things like minting and all of that, you can just specify it here and then you should be good to go. So and if you want to use the current address, you can use it. So let me just click on use current address. So it's still going to use my address. And then we are minting 10 tokens, then we click register and deploy. On the new screen that you are seeing right now, shows you additional chains that you can deploy to. You just need to select the chains that you can deploy to. But then I want to show like the entire process of how to deploy remotely on one chain and then later select like additional chains that you want to deploy on. So I won't select any chain here. So I'm just registering this token on one chain, which is Scroll, right? So I'll just click on deploy on one chain. And then I need to accept this to pay gas fee. And then it's showing deploying, and that's it. You have successfully deployed. It took literally less than 1 second or like 2 seconds to deploy. That's how quick it is, and then very, very fast for you to deploy. So we have like things like you can check out, maybe to share on Twitter to talk about your experience, which I would encourage you to, so that we can know how things are going for both testnet and mainnet. And also you can click directly from here to see the transaction status of this token that was deployed. Okay, I think it's still loading. The scroll blocks out have not picked up. Let me try scroll. What's this? Okay, so this is what we are going to do. Let's just copy the address. Does anyone know like the testnet for Scroll? Sorry? Scroll scan, yeah. Oh, cool. Okay, so there's testnet. This should be testnet, if I'm correct. So you can verify that transaction. I think this is not their portal. This is not the correct portal. But let me see if they automatically scan transactions. Yeah, because this is testnet. This is mainnet rather, sorry. I'm coming. Okay, Sepolia scroll scan. So we should. Yeah, so this is the transaction. Just pending here. I think it's going to pick it up and then we can see the transaction details here, right? So this is verifiable on blockchain, like on chain, yeah. So going back here, we can click on go to token page and then we'll see the details of our token that we just deployed. As you can see on the screen, we can see the name, the symbol, the decimal, the token ID, the ownership. Okay, you can also claim ownership request here that leads you to a Google form for you to fill to claim the ownership of this particular token. So it's tied to your address. And also the token manager that is, remember what I mentioned earlier, token manager that was deployed and then attached to this that the Interchain token service we use to deploy to mint and bond tokens across chain. So if you check here, you can see we have registered chain, right? And then we have unregistered chain. You can see the balance is showing 10K here. I don't know if you guys can see that correctly, but let me. No, this is bad. So you can see the balance showing 10K. And then you can click on manage token. So if you click on this manage token, it is because we enabled its mintable feature when we were trying to create the Interchain token. That's why you can see this option. If you don't enable that, the supply you already entered will be the fixed supply for that particular chain, and you won't be able to mint additional tokens. So now you can click on mint again, and then you'll be able to mint more because I specify my address. So if it's a multi-sig address, then you need to now go through the process of sign in and all of that. But the fact that it's the same address, I can easily just add more to me. But then let's just proceed to mint on any additional chain. Which chain should we mint this token on? Okay, Phantom, Polygon, Avalanche, BNB. I think 4 is enough. So we are going to register it right away. And then we pay as usual. And you can see the status here. It says, okay, guys, since you can see it, so it says loading, and then now it has been initialized. If you take a look at this logo, you find the different blockchains, BNB chain, Avalanche, Polygon, and the other one, and I think Phantom that we selected. So this is currently ongoing, and then you can track the status of each chain on Axelar scan, because this is a remote deployment. This is a cross-chain deployment that is happening from chain A, which is Scroll, to other blockchains. So you can track it there. So if I click on the BNB on, yeah, it redirects to Axelar scan, and then I can zoom out a little bit. Yeah, so you can see here, you can see how the status, it starts from sent, the next one, gas was paid successfully, and then now it's waiting for finality, and then approval, and then execute, right? Same thing for Avalanche. If you click on Avalanche, it's typically like the same address, but now you can see it's Avalanche here, and then you see this finality, waiting for finality, and the finality depends on varies based on different chains, right? So now we have all of these. So the whole idea here is that we were able to deploy our Interchain token from the beginning, and then we can easily go cross-chain with just few clicks. How cool is that? Like on the portal, I don't need to know how to code before I can use this platform. I don't need to do anything programmatically, even though we have the option for you to do it programmatically, because I mentioned the Interchain token service is a smart contract. So all of these things that the portal is doing with few clicks, they're actually calling different functions under the hood that you as a developer can set up your local environment and deploy all of these things yourself. So you have that option, and then you should be good to go, right? So this is still being initialized, and then going to finalize later on. But I believe you all get the idea of this entire session to create a new Interchain token on Scroll using the Axelar Interchain token service. Is that correct? Yes. Perfect. Thank you. So now let's go back to to our slide. We just have one more thing, and then we are good to go. Yeah, thank you. So one last thing, I already showed this before, the Interchain token portal, interchain.axelar.dev, and then we have the testnet, which is testnet.interchain.axelar.dev. So what next? We know that going through all of this entire process, you might have questions. In fact, it might not even be questions, it might be feedback, or like you need clarity on few things, or how things happens under the hood. We have a documentation and a guide that we've written already that can guide you. But if you still have questions, you can just create an issue on this repository. We have notification turned on this repo, and then we have people that are actively waiting for this notification so that they can answer your question, including myself. So if you have questions, you can just go there and then create an issue. Probably just search for an issue if it already exists, and then you can just get the answer directly. Or you just create a new issue, and you should be good to go. So thank you very much for joining this session. My name is Idris Olubisi once again. You can reach out to me via idris@interrupts.io. And you can also scan this QR code, please. It takes less than 1 minute to scan. And then feedback, it's a very short survey just to learn more about your experience. And if you find this session useful, and probably anything that can be improved on. It takes less than 1 minute, please. I would appreciate everyone, to scan this QR code to fill it. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you. Okay. They already understand. There's no question. Huh? The last slide. Oh, this link. This one. Yeah. So it's just, if you Google Axelar support, you should see this repo. Or you Google Axelar network, it takes you to the repo and then search support. Or you Google, or just enter into the URL, github.com/Axelar network/support. Yeah. Another question. Oh, yeah, that's a very good question, right? So right now, Axelar have a feature called general message passing, right? For you to send messages across different chains. So ideally, what is happening under the hood is that you're supposed to pay 3 gas. You pay one for the source chain, you pay the other one for the Axelar blockchain itself, and then you pay the final one for the destination chain. But then, Axelar already deployed a gas service contract that will help you handle all of these things. So what you just need to do is to pay gas once. And then the cool thing is that you can pay with the native chain, the native assets on the source chain. So if you're on Polygon, like what I did right now, I just paid with Scroll, and then it covers the entire transaction from my destination, from my source chain to the destination chain. So that's how gas works. But there are a lot more details that if you want to go to, we on our documentation, just once you land on docs.axelar.dev, there's a search button. Just search for gas service. You see like detailed info how things happens under the hood. But zooming out, like this is the architectural explanation of how gas is being paid across different chains, and then what assets is required for you to pay. So because you want to send message or you want to create your Interchain token on Polygon, does not mean that you need to now look for Polygon assets, you need to look for this and all of that. So once you just pay with your native asset on your source chain, you should be able to deploy. I hope that answers your question anyways. Thanks, man. Sorry, I can't hear it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, minting and burning, yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. So it's not. It's just a function call. So the contract has been deployed already, right? So I don't know if this thing have completed, but I wanted to show. So this is still like in progress. I want to show you how you can. You see this button that is graded out here? It's the transfer button. So once you click on transfer, it asks you for the amount. Oh, let me try a token that I've deployed already. Okay, see this now. See this token that was deployed on Phantom, right? This is the source chain, and then this is the remote chains, right? We have Avalanche, Polygon, and Binance. You can see the balance on Phantom is 18K. Balance on Avalanche is 1K, and Polygon is 1K. So I can do transfers. So if you click on here, you switch to Phantom Network, right? And then I can click on transfer and say I want to send 200, right? We have 18K. So click on this, pay gas for this transaction, and then it's going to initiate transfer. You can see this transfer status here. It's going to initiate that transfer, and this happened directly on, on this portal. So what this is doing under the hood, it's calling that transfer function on the token, because this is a new Interchain token, right? So there's something called Interchain token standard, right? This is a standard that exposes Interchain transfer for you and Interchain transfer from, just like you have for ERC20 transfer and transfer from, right? So for new tokens, we are using the Interchain token that is created, already inherited from Interchain token standard. So by default, you have Interchain transfer with that token. So you can just call the Interchain transfer directly on the contract, pay for gas like I just did, and then it will go through. This happened like almost immediately, and let's try to confirm. I want to see if I have this status completed already. Okay, said confirm. Okay, yeah, you can see this is now 7,800. But where did we send it to? Was it Avalanche? Okay. It was Avalanche, right? So let me click here to see it on Axelar scan. It has completed. So it says approving, should approve less than 1 minute. After approval, it's going to execute, and the asset, right now, the asset is already burnt on Phantom, and it's going to be minted on Avalanche using the token manager that was deployed, a mint-born token manager. There are different types of token manager in this case, right? So it's now executed. Let's go back to this page and refresh. Oh, before even refreshing, it's there. So we now have 1.2. You can see the system was able to manage the total supply across all the chains, right? So we now have 1.2. This is just a function call that happens cross-chain, interchain transfer, and then we're able to transfer assets from one chain to the other. Yeah, it's ERC20 token. So depending on the kind of reward value that you attach to this asset. No, yeah, it's per the asset, not per chain, because now you can make that token interchain token by default. So it's per the asset. So if there's any liquidity or like price determinant for that token, by default, that token is